Hey, what's up, guys? It's Aldo here with the Chase DA Sports Handicapping YouTube channel. And I'm just running it back here with another UFC video. But I'm also going to add a little twist to it. I'm going to add some boxing into it. There's a big boxing fight between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. So it should be a very good fight. And I'll just jump right into it. I won't waste your guys' time anymore. Uh, I'm not even gonna really dive into the prelims. Some of these fights are pretty bad. I've been seeing a lot of guys on this Albazi guy. He's just gone from like minus 250 to minus 500 now. So I CLV's on his side, but be careful because Figueiredo. I mean, that's Figgy's brother, so be careful. He might have some secret powers we don't know about. But probably just a fight to avoid, along with a lot of these other ones like I always say, if you're gonna bet women's MMA, bet the underdog. So Shanny Young, I guess. That's my one dog of the night, or at least my first dog of the night. But women's MMA, never bet massive favorites unless they're Shevchenko. But even then, like Nunes, like she lost minus 1400. Anyways, moving on. Let's get on to a real fight here. First fight I actually like is Romanov versus Tybura. Romanov, I think he's 16-0, undefeated, has never lost a fight, and I think he's won every fight inside the distance by KO or submission. I think most of them by KO, but he has like 4 or 5 submissions sprinkled in there. So he was like minus 2,000 in his last fight, and now he's minus 400 here. So I think he wins again, but I think Tybura can catch him, though. He has pretty fast hands, and he's sort of underrated. I think he's won 5 out of his last 6 fights, Tybura. But one thing that I am including in my one parlay, I already see Mr. Usman down here is in it. But in this Romanov fight, the best bet, and I'm really surprised the odds aren't more on it, he's only seen the third round twice in his 16 fights. He's finished every fight. Fight to not go the distance, minus 220. Throw that in your parlays, or at least one of your plays. I'm really liking this. I think it ends in the first round, honestly. This guy has super heavy hands. Moving on. Next fight I'm going to talk about, I'm not even going to talk about this one. Minus 900 heavyweight fight. I mean, throw him in your parlay. If he loses, I mean, you got robbed blind by the bookie, and this guy needs to retire. And if he wins, he added 30 cents to your parlay. So tread lightly with it. Probably just another one. Fight to end inside the distance. He's minus 850 heavyweight. If he doesn't win that inside the distance, that's suspect. Moving on. Not going to touch on this women's fight. One dog I really do like on this card, Jose Aldo against Merab Divashvili. Jose Aldo, he has a 90% takedown defense, and that's Merab's main game plan. But Merab, he's a good chain wrestler, good sambo guy. Knows how to get like a hold of the hips and take you down, but he can't hold you down though. A lot of his fights, you see, like I think he has like 10 or 12 takedowns in some of these fights, but he has like no control time. These people are just getting right back up. So like, what is that telling you? Like Jose Aldo, he's just gonna stop these takedowns, gonna stuff them, and if he does get stuffed, he's just gonna get right back up. I mean, I saw this one stat. I think Merab, he fought Cody Stamann, who's like an average guy in the division, and he took him down like 3 times and only had like 30 seconds of control. And Cody Stamann only took him down like 1 time, and he had like 2 minutes of control. So I honestly would lean Jose Aldo, and I'm going Jose Aldo by decision. It's a 3-round fight, so I think that gives him a perfect amount of time just to get in a good groove and get out of there before he gets gassed. Because I've noticed in these 5-round fights, he gets a little tired. Gets a little, not chinny, I would say, but just like a little complacent. Might get caught with a shot or something. Moving on here. I would throw Paulo in the mix into the parlay, but I'm just a little suspect on him. He was 16-0. Now he's lost his last two fights, and he's sort of been clowning in his last two fights. He showed up to the Adesanya fight hungover, apparently. He drank the wine, he said. And then when he fought Vittori, he was 15 pounds overweight, and they had to do it at catch weight. He looked decent in the fight, don't get me wrong, but he's not in the right headspace if you're doing that stuff. And then he had this plastic surgery that he took a year off of MMA. It was a hair transplant. It was something ridiculous. And I think the guy, he's in a good shape. He's really good fighter. I mean, look at his fights with Romero, and I mean, he's a really good fighter, don't get me wrong, but where is this guy mentally? If he's in a good spot, I like him to win. He was minus 220, I think, and now he's doubled. He's minus 400. Rockhold, I think he's in the very same spot as Paulo. He hasn't fought, I think, in 3 years. He hasn't won a fight in 5 years. And I think he has 6 losses or 5 losses in the UFC. And all of those losses are by brutal knockout. Go watch that one by Jan Blachowicz. I mean, that was just murder. He just got dominated. So I'm going to predict Paulo by... I'm going to go first round KO again. I'm seeing a lot of guys. A lot of dead bodies on this card. Except the Aldo fight. I'm liking that one to be a slow technical fight. But a lot of these fights are going to see finishes, I think. And for the next one, I'm actually... Usman, I think, can win this basically any way. I know he's not a submission guy, so I won't say that. But moving on, I'm just going to Paulo by first round. Moving on. Kamaru, I think, is also a very good pick. And here's my reasoning. He's never lost in the UFC. He's never been taken down in the UFC. I know Colby sort of did. They didn't credit it, though. On the scorecard, it doesn't say it, so I'm just going to go off that. I think he sort of did, but whatever. Kamaru, I think, also has really upped his boxing game. I mean, the knockouts of Burns and especially Masvidal proved that he could stand with really, really good strikers, even being known as a wrestler, and knock these guys out cold. So I think he could definitely do that to Edwards. Edwards has definitely been looking... He's a good fighter, but he sort of gets complacent. Look at that Nate Diaz fight. Winning the entire fight and gets caught. And he's lucky Nate didn't do anything and just pointed his finger at him instead of just going and knocking him out, because Edwards was out on his feet. But no one's going to say that because he won the fight. But I'm going to go with Usman. I want to say by decision, but I think he could definitely grind on this guy, ground and pound him, 4th or 5th round TKO, I'm predicting, for Usman. I'm going to go 4th or 5th round TKO. That's my official prediction, actually. But I wouldn't doubt a decision. So to throw him in your parlay, don't worry about the prop. Maybe an over in rounds, over 2 or 3. But like I said, he could catch this guy. I don't think he'll get caught, though. And he could always rely on his wrestling. He's one of the best in the game at it. So that's my UFC breakdown. Let's move on to the boxing. Okay. I couldn't really pull up a good graphic for this because I don't know why. The graphics for boxing are way worse than they are for MMA. Some of the sites just aren't good. So I'm just on DAZN right now looking at Usyk's record. And I'm going to be going with him in my parlay for the last leg. I'm probably not going to play this official play, but I'll play some variation of it, like maybe Usman, Usyk, or maybe Usyk, fight to not go the distance, any variation of these three. I've always said I don't like to do more than 2 in my parlay, but there is pretty good value to this, and I've had pretty good explanations for all 3 of these. And let me get to Usyk. So Usyk, he's undefeated, as you've seen. He just beat Joshua in their last fight pretty handily. It was I would say, not domination, but he definitely, like they say, it was unanimous, as they say right here. And I would say he won, I would say, at least 9 of those rounds if you go back and watch it, maybe more. This Kisora, sorry, win was pretty good. I think Tyson Fury's fighting this guy for the trilogy next. Um, but anyways, I just think this guy, with the whole Ukraine war going on, I think this guy's going to be pretty motivated actually, and he's going to show up here, going to put on a really good show, and prove why these guys are actually like putting up a good fight over there. So I think he's going to use that actually as a motivation and not as a detriment. And I think he's going to win by decision. But I think he might knock Joshua down a few times. Joshua's pretty tough, but he has been stopped. Like in the Ruiz fight, it was a doctor stoppage or whatever. The judge waved it off. But I think it goes to decision again, and I think Usyk probably wins by unanimous decision again. The guy is just really dominant. He doesn't play around, that's for sure. So my play is this is the parlay. Any one of these variations will work. Maybe inside the distance on this one too. I like Costa, dog of the night, Aldo, and don't really worry about any of the other fights. Check my Twitter for tennis plays, and thank you for checking out the last video. I really appreciate it. Have a good week, all.